through the shadows where the storms collide. She stands with courage as her guide. Her whispers echo louder than screams, faithful to God through broken dreams. She's the silent storm, unshaken, strong. Through the trials, she's where hope belongs, a survivor standing tall, unbound. Her voice a beacon breaking the cloud. Tuesdays and Thursdays, the table set for stories shared, no room for regret. At 5:30 sharp, hearts come alive. Together we heal, together we thrive. Tuesdays and Thursdays, the table set for stories shared, no room for regret. At 5:30 sharp, hearts come alive. Together we heal, together we thrive.
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome. I'm so sorry that I had to push it back an hour. It's because I was still at the store. I was at the store to get some groceries and stuff, so I didn't get home till a little bit late. Hey, Vibrant. So please forgive me for coming on late. Cause you know I try my best to be on time when I schedule. But I had to take care of a lot of stuff today. So today we're gonna be talking about why advocates not speaking up for justice for Ramika. On today, today is Tuesday, Real Table Talk. This day is dedicated, just for Ramika, talking about different things about Ramika only on Tuesdays and stuff. So today we're gonna talk about, you know, why is this advocate, why did he change his mind? And I was going to go over some few points and what things that we can do to have an advocate, not just, that one, what, there's plenty of advocates out there that can lead any type of crime, okay? And there's some reasons, some probably don't want to do certain cases, and there's some reasons that we can step into to make it happen, to make him feel comfortable. Not that you're begging him to do anything, but just make him feel comfortable. Okay, so before I get started, I just want to welcome everyone here um, first, okay, before we get, talking about the topic on today. So welcome everyone to Roy Jules Palace Room, known as Safe Haven, where it's real talk with real people in real life. You will see God's love, peace, joy, happiness, unity, and respect. Okay, this live stream is just a discussion I am talking about today. It is a opinion or thought, and some is research I had looked up as well. But where I say if the shoe fit, just wear it. Okay. Like I said, this video of discussion we're going to talk about today. Why doesn't an advocate speak for a victim? And it could be many reasons, like I said. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna try to narrow it down and see if it's the supporter's fault, that the reason why he don't want to come. This is our problem, or is it the advocate's problem? Okay. Hello, Kathy. Thank you for watching. Peace and blessings to you. I've still got a cold. If I sound kind of funny, Okay, so I'm going to definitely do my copyright. I like to get my copyright up in there, okay? Because that is so important, to read. So there we go for you guys, and we can go ahead and read this copyright disclaimer together. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips in the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, so let me remove that. And I also got the copyright disclaimer also in my ticker that's going across the board right there. So I keep it there, because you never know when we are going to bring this up. And if you are coming here, youth content creator, please share me out. Let people know that Forever Lisa is live. I really, really appreciate if you can do that for me. And but just know that I'm not no preacher, a counselor, a therapist, or a doctor. I'm just a willing vessel being used by God for his purpose, not man. Okay. Um, I don't follow people. I follow righteousness. I follow the truth. Okay. I follow what I think is right. That's me. That's what I do. Okay. I'm not the type of person is gonna jump on the bandwagon because this person on the bandwagon. No. That's why I stand 10 toes down by myself and I move how I move. Okay. I support who I support. When I see something's wrong, if I think it's wrong, I got the right to say it. That's my opinion. Like everybody else got a right to say that's their opinion. Okay. So, but if you are a moderator, when you come into my live chat over here on YouTube, you may drop your link down anytime that you want. Okay, it's all up to you how you wants to do it. So again, thank you all for tuning in and for sharing me out. Let me go ahead and share this out into one of my groups that I'm involved in, and hopefully they will show up. Let me get this down. Okay, hold on 1 second, you guys. Because it shows good right here, but don't show good. Okay, remove that. Yes, but God is good. So we're going to talk about how come um, advocates do not want to. um, 1 second. 1 second. Okay. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So let me get back up over here. I apologize. You guys, I'm just trying to set some things up. And I missed a live last night with one of the um, Meek Squad went live late last night, and I fell out and I went to sleep. I went to sleep. Like I said, all are welcome. Good vibes only. Okay, it's okay for you to speak your mind and just move on. Okay, so um, just know that everything is going to be good up over here. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. As we know, on September the 8th of 2025, a beautiful young lady, 31-year-old mother of one son, was shot several times, once in the face and then in the leg, which both were fatal shots. They don't know which one had actually unalived her. Okay. But we do know that they both were fatal shots. And it's sad. It just breaks my heart every time, I go back to September the 8th. Okay. And then once in the face and then once in the leg, which both were fatal shots. And she dropped her son off at school and later passed due to her injuries. She was unalived by her baby daddy, other baby mama, which she was also booked on the same day of the shooting. As on or before September 11th, she was released from the Chicago Police Department with no charges. And still, as of today, she had not been charged with anything. Okay, she's still walking around, you know, the streets, you know what I'm saying, smiling, taking pictures, when she was saying that I would never do this, I would never dress, dress alike and stuff, but she out there doing everything that she said she would never do. Okay. So my question is today, so I just gave you a little brief background, on what happened. I'm quite sure all you already seen all the videos and stuff of what happened. So the question is, why did the advocate change his mind to help get justice for Ramika? Because last time I was in the advocate, which is Jedediah's chat, he said he was gonna look into it. So I guess he did look into it, you know what I'm saying? But I guess he changed his mind, that he was not going to look into this case. And it could be several reasons why, you know what I'm saying? So let's look at some of the several reasons why he probably said no. Okay. I'm not saying this is what he said. I'm just trying to think, why would he want to help a beautiful young lady that was doing good for herself, somebody that was working two jobs, somebody that was going to school to be a nurse, somebody was in a whole new relationship, you know. So what was the reason why Jedediah changed his mind about this case? Okay, so this is just my own thoughts, okay? It's because the case is too messy, okay? Or did the advocate doesn't do domestic violence crimes no more? This just something come up top of my head. The advocate no longer live in Chicago, Illinois. That's why he don't want to travel back and forth, because it's gonna cost money to go back and forth. Is it the advocate doesn't want to be talked about? You know what I'm saying? When he take this case. Or in my last one, I said I thought about the advocate seat is not worth his time. Okay, so that's some of the reasons I thought that he probably had changed his mind. But one thing I can say, when you are advocate, no matter what type of crime it is, you are going to have people for you, and you are going to have people against you, no matter what you do, no matter how, which one you go for. You can be something that's, lesser crime than this. People are going to be people. People are going to want to pull you to not to advocate for Ramika. And you find people like myself and other people want you to. We know you did Kanika Jenkins. We know that was rough. But to me, don't take one case that you had went through, hard time with, for another one. Okay. Don't blame that case, with Ramika. That was that case. This is a whole nother case, whole nother new family. You know what I'm saying? So a mother that wants justice for her daughter, a son wants justice for his mother, a sister wants justice for her sister, a aunt wants justice for her niece, a uncle wants justice for his niece, and cousins. You know what I'm saying? And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. It's all about being right. Being right. When you're an advocate, that's things that you're gonna it's gonna come to you. It's gonna come to you. Don't turn your back. Don't turn your back on this beautiful woman that did not deserve to get up to pass away like that, taken away from her family like that. So people, what can we do as Ramika, Justice for Ramika team? How can we help pull a advocate? If it's not him, another one. How can we help pull them in to help us to be a leader there. So I looked it up, some stuff up, and so this is what I'm just going to read to you guys, and what I have researched on how to help this advocate, what I'm saying, make this happen, make him feel comfortable taking this role. Okay. To enable an advocate to take the lead effectively, we must focus on clear delegation, okay, providing necessary resources and establishing a supportive environment that empowers them to take ownership, okay? He's the leader or she's the leader. So we got to give them the power to take ownership, okay? He's not supposed to be following us. We're supposed to be following him and his lead, what he think was best fit in, okay? And they said here are some key steps, okay, to facilitate this transition. Define roles, okay, expectation clearly, okay? Define what your role is, okay? Establish clear roles and timelines. Define precisely what takes the lead means in a specific context, okay? Clearly outline the advocate's new responsibility, decisions making, authority, and scope versus out of scope decisions, okay? And expect the timeline for full transition. Set measurable goals, objectives, okay? Set measurable goals, objectives. Work with the advocate to define clear, measurable goals for their new leadership roles so they can track progress and understand what success look like, okay? Two, it says ensure preparation and resources provide full information and facts, okay? And it says ensure that advocate has all relevant information, data, and a deep understanding of the issue, case, project details, allocate necessary resources, okay? And then it reads, confirm they have the appropriate tools. Budget is important. You got to have a budget, especially if the advocate live far away and they got to drive, back and forth, to Chicago from where they stay at. Even if they do stay in Chicago, okay, he might got resources who helps him out, might live out of state somewhere, and got to get them in here to do some work. Okay, so he got to have a budget. He needed a support staff. Okay, volunteers needed to succeed. Okay, offer training or mentorship, it says. Provide opportunities for professional development, such as leadership training, or connect them with an experienced mentor, okay, who can offer guidance and insight, which we don't need that because the advocate that we got, he been doing it for decades. He already know what he's doing. So maybe if you can read some of the steps that he need for us to do, for us to step back and let him take the lead. Okay? That's why it's so good to research things, for yourself. Foster trust and communication. Create an open communication environment, okay? Encourage open dialogue where the advocate feels comfortable expressing ideals, concerns, and disagreements without fear of negative, okay, repercussions, okay? Let him give you some ideas. Hear him out. Don't be so quick to be a disagreement. He knows or she knows what, she's doing. You reach out to them for a reason. So these are some of the things we got to let them feel comfortable, let them lead, let them show they work. Okay? Practice active listening. always good to listen sometimes, not just always running your mouth. It's good to listen at times. Listen to the advocate's concerns, okay? An ideal and provide them with an opportunity to be heard and understood. Build a and also build a base of support, okay? Help the advocate build relationship with the coalition of supporters within the organization or the community to amplify their efforts, okay? Like out there in Chicago, you got your the person who always what you doing that protesting out there protesting. Whoever the leader that protesting, get a relationship with the advocate. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's leading that, your team, get with the advocate, okay, and understand each other. You don't got to be a whole bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? Who is the, mind you, times is going to be probably somebody in the family, okay? Get to know the advocate, okay? Step back and provide, okay? Support, no solutions. Avoid being a complicit manager. Only authority is delegated. Resist the urge of step in and make decisions for them. Instead, offer guidance by discussing options and highlighting important facts. Delegate things, okay? Delegate responsibility. Empower them to take ownership of day-to-day problems and encourage them to find solutions independently, monitor and evaluate progress, okay? Regularly check in to monitor the impact of the transition and provide feedback, adjusting strategies as needed based on performance and challenges faced, okay? And the last one, offer private, recognition. Praise their efforts, okay? Acknowledge and reward the advocates' achievements, both publicly and in front of senior leaders and privately, to reinforce the importance of their new role and motivate them. By following these steps, you can effectively transfer the lead role and empower the advocate to succeed. Okay, so we got to understand, and we got to, that whoever the advocate is, you know what I'm saying, let them feel comfortable. Okay, that you trust them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have to trust, these advocates, to take the lead. You know what I'm saying? They are doing the right thing. And as far as being an advocate, it's a budget. It's gonna take money. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take money for them to work because it's their time. And they got a team who they work with as well, going out there doing certain things. So you can't be messy with this. Sometimes when you're in these groups, you got to watch out who's going into these groups, start mess so the advocate can feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that was somebody was kind of being messy, you know what I'm saying? And just so that advocate can, see how, we not messy, you know what I'm saying? People that's in those Ramika groups are good people, but we think people that is not with us are coming in there starting mess. Okay. So we got to just buckle down. We got to stay focused on what matters. And what matter is Ramika. Stop all that. We're going to stop all that arguing. If it's some people that's arguing, that's really for Ramika. We just asking you to calm down and let's focus on what's matter. And let's try to get these two people that unalive Ramika, get them locked up. Okay. Is we don't got time for no messiness. Okay. So that's the only thing I can think of, and why this advocate changed his mind. Is it the case is too messy? Is it the advocate doesn't do DV crimes no more? The advocate no longer lives in the area where the crime happened at, or the advocate doesn't want to be talked about, or the advocate see it's not worth his time. Okay, so there's only 5 things I can think. But us as Wamika Meeks team, mouthpiece for her, it seems that we got to do as well. Okay, we got to, do things as well. We got to let the advocate take the role in it. Let him know that we are not messy. Ramika is not messy. We just want justice for Ramika. Okay? That's we got to do. We got to set measurable goals and objectives. Okay? We got to establish a clear role in timelines. Okay? We also got to provide full information and facts, allocate necessary resources, and offer training or mentorship for somebody that wants to help out. Teach them how to do it, show them how to do it. Create an open communication environment, and it's very important to communicate. Communication is very important for all. We got to practice active listening. We got to listen to the advocate at times. We don't got to constantly run. It's okay, for the advocate to hear your idea too, but listen, he the one's leading this. Okay, he been doing this, or she been doing this for decades. So let them listen to them, and then I'm quite sure he will listen to your idea as well. Okay, build a base of support. Okay, so you got to build that relationship with each other. You got to understand each other. You got to trust each other. Okay. So I hope that right there, you guys would definitely listen to that and go on for that. Well, anyway, we finna go ahead and some new stuff had came up as well. With Carlos. Okay, they said he got a baby, another baby coming. You know what I'm saying? They done found the girl. They don't know the girl name, but they done found it's some videos have came out with text messaging and stuff like this. So Big Keys had talked about some, and so did Cold Piece TV. So I'm gonna play a little bit of theirs and let you listen, to them. I'm gonna play Keys first, 'cause his only but a few seconds long. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that with you. Oh, I got a cold. Let me see. Mm, 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 la, la. See. Yeah, this the one. This is shout out to Keys right here. I just happened to see this on Facebook on I don't know who I got this. I don't know. I got this from Travel Islands page or Justice for Ramika. I'm not for sure which one I got it from. Was from one of their pages. Okay, so we're gonna go hear this real quick.
She had the recordings of him saying what happened. Now, according to this person, he was holding Ramika back. He had Ramika. Holly went for the gun. He told Holly to put the gun up, don't shoot her. Holly proceeded to shoot her still, as he had Ramika though. So that throw that self-defense claim out and Carlos getting to it, she say this, Loso, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. And all your cheerleader days are coming as well. Fuck you and them. And anybody else that's trying to cover up for you helping murder my cousin. Oh my God. Keep playing. I'm going to drop the receipts and recordings of your cousin telling you to get rid of her. Oh, so your cousin told you to get rid of Ramika. They did Jimmy Hoffa Ramika, y'all. So now, your cousin is on the phone like a mafia hit, talking about get rid of her. That's crazy work. She continues to say, "Now play with me. You got the internet fool, but I've known you since the 3rd grade. Crazy work. That means he been lying since the 3rd grade. When all the other kids was talking about what they was gonna bring to show and tell, he was the only 3rd grader talking about he was gonna bring a Lamborghini truck. He about to bring a $200,000 chain in the 3rd grade. Is you fucking crazy?" She had the recordings of him saying,
See, Isn't that sad? Now he trying to say he told her not to shoot her. I told her not to shoot her. I told her not to shoot her. You didn't just have to tell her not to shoot her. You also could have, um, stopped her from unaliving Ramika. You didn't have to verbally use your yeah, you still should have used your voice, but you could have went over there where she was as well and took the gun from her. But we all know why you didn't want to touch that gun. You didn't want to touch that gun because you was not supposed to be around no gun because you was a felon. Okay, so this is Cold Piece. I'm gonna play next, you guys. She's a awesome YouTuber. I love how she she break things down. Okay, she's been a Ramika supporter since day one as well. I watches her a lot. I be in her live chat as well. So shout out to Cold Peace TV. Okay, if you're not subscribed to her or Keys News Network, go subscribe to them. They definitely does some good work. Some good work. And we almost done, you guys. Okay, we almost done. Um, mm, mm, mm. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started.
Talking at this point because from what was dropped yesterday and what was brought to my attention about a recording of Carlos and his alleged text messages and recordings and all this, I am over it. Hold on. But like I was saying, I am over it at this point. I feel like whatever recordings and text messages y'all have against this man that's possibly incriminating himself, hopefully y'all gave the family gave this to the police officers as well as just drop the shit. Because why are we still saving face for his ass and his other baby mother that did this to Ramika?
Mm-hmm.
I am in awe that it's text messages, it's alleged, I'm gonna say alleged text messages, alleged recordings from what the family is saying. What are we doing? What are we doing? We need justice for Ramika. And
That's
anything
right.
that's involving Carlos and him incriminating himself, put it out there. Because why are we still steady going back and forth on whether or not this man played a part in Ramika's demise when clearly the family thinks he does play a part in a way, because they are now saying that they have text messages and fucking recordings of him basically incriminating himself like this. This is what the cousin posts. Y'all notice every time I say some tutti frutti boys only respond to me. You know why? Cause I know the truth and they can't silence me. I'm an army by myself. You motherfuckers need crowds with a bunch of niggas who really don't even like each other. Image and ego is a man's worst nightmare. Don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger. Like they clearly is tied and over Carlos and his bullshit. And clearly she's saying in here that she knows that he's a fruitcake.
Mm-hmm.
This possibly could be a reason to why he wanted Ramika out of the picture. What's this? Pump it on.
And I believe it because I'm telling you, when you find out that your better half go both ways, it's best. I mean, I'm telling you, it's best. Don't say nothing. Just get out the relationship because you're going to get unalived. Okay. Ramika knew something about him and he wanted her gone. And he used Holly to do it. And don't tell him what all type of lies he told Holly that, he said what Ramika said about her, which I don't believe that she did. Ramika was going with her life.
All them weights and can't fight is crazy. He gonna be somebody's bitch behind the wall. And I know that they are upset, mad, and want justice for Ramika. But I'm saying, like, I don't think, man, I can't even say what I want to say because I'm not promoting violence or anything over here, but something has to happen one way or the other when it comes to this case. And I'm kind of, hold on, y'all. I'm kind of like mad, like really, really mad because I don't know. I just don't know what angle the family is going and with this. I know they want justice and they want it the right way. And hopefully everything that they said that they have against him, they have given it to the authorities.
And I believe they have.
I could not sit back and know that this man played a part in the demise of my family member and see him walking around every day happy.
And the thing about that is, it's only temporarily. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna slip. He's gonna slip. Okay. What the detective, the prosecutor is doing, they is building their case. They build their case to the fullest, to the top. They do not want this to slip out of their hand at all. So we gotta do just give them time, because it's gonna happen. We all wanted to happen before Christmas, before the New Year's, end. But if not, it's a reason. Sometimes I'm going to play these two that I have found and I want to share. This is a totally different case. So that way, the family can understand that it's going to take a while, before this case, come to an end. So let me go back and see if I can see which one it is that I had. 1 second, you guys. Mm-hmm. 1 second. Hold on. I'm trying to go into my file so I can pull it up for you guys. I can pull it up. Let me see. Is this one it? Oh, no, not that one. Let me see. Okay, not that one. I mean, that's a good one too, but that's not the one that I want. Not that one. So this one is, hold on. Oh yeah, here go one right here. It's the one. Hold on, you guys. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. I'm gonna I got this from I think it was TikTok. Shout out to Nina Johnson. This is from Nina Johnson. Something that she had played. This is just listen to this story right here, you guys. It's not long at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and share it so you guys can go ahead and listen to this. Hey, Misunderstood. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and listen to this real quick.
2020, while the world was falling apart, Cornisha made a bet on herself. She packed up her 4 kids and moved to Atlanta, Georgia. New city, new opportunities, new life, no family nearby to help with babysitting, no friends to crash with if things went wrong. just faith and a refusal to fail. And somehow, against every odd, she pulled it off. Within 2 years, Cornisha Butler bought a house. Not a rental, not a cramped apartment with paper-thin walls. A 5-bedroom home in South Fulton with a yard big enough for her kids to run around in. She posted about it on Facebook the day she got the keys. Been in Atlanta going on 2 years. My kids been through hell and back with me. It's only right I give them a life I never had. That house meant everything. It meant her daughters wouldn't share a bedroom until they were teenagers. It meant her son had space to grow. It meant Cornisha had finally broken the cycle. She filled that house with life, birthday parties, family dinners, late night conversations with friends who'd become family. Her social media lit up with photos of her smiling in front of her new home, posing next to her pink Mercedes-Benz, a car she'd saved for years to afford, hosting cookouts in the backyard she now owned. To anyone watching, Cornisha Butler was winning. And for a while, she was. Ask anyone who knew Cornisha, and they'll tell you the same thing. She had this energy, the kind that filled a room the second she walked in, loud laugh, warm smile, the type of woman who remembered your birthday and checked on you when you went quiet. Her kids adored her, not in the way kids love their parents because they have to, but in the way kids love their parents when they actually show up. Cornisha showed up to school events, to late night talks about problems only a mom can solve, to every moment that mattered. Her friends depended on her. Her clients trusted her. Her family called her the glue that held everyone together. From the outside, Cornisha had figured it out. But what people didn't see, what Cornisha hid behind the Instagram posts and the Sunday dinners, was the person slowly tightening a noose around her life. That's when Cornisha met 𝘕𝑗a Perkins. And at first, it seemed like the missing piece. Someone who paid attention. Someone who wanted to build something together. Someone who showed up when things got hard and stayed. 𝘕𝑗a was affectionate, present, invested. Within months, they were living together, blending lives, sharing space, playing house. To the outside world, they looked happy, but affection can become interrogation if you're not careful. Presence can become surveillance, and investment can become ownership. Somewhere along the way, 𝘕𝑗a stopped asking, "How was your day?" and started demanding, "Where were you?" She questioned Cornisha's friendships, her phone, her schedule, her every move. What looked like love from the outside felt like a leash from the inside. And Cornisha, she tried to make it work. Because when you're raising 4 kids and finally building the life you dreamed of, you don't just walk away at the first sign of trouble. You push through. You tell yourself every relationship has rough patches. You convince yourself things will get better. Cornisha convinced herself for 5 years.
I knew it all along.
Okay, that's the Cornisha Butler story. You guys can go ahead and check that story out, and we finna go ahead and get this other one real quick. 1 second, you guys.
Good.
Let me stop sharing. Hold on. Okay, here go this other one.
Her best friend. 2 men face charges, but the criminal complaint points to lies others told. And for that, Ksenia Brunson's mom is pressing ahead. Ksenia Brunson turned 20 in June, a joy to be around.
She can make you smile right away.
Brunson wanted to be an orthodontist or a vet, later learning she was good at making others look good, so she enrolled in beauty school.
She actually taught me how to put on eyelashes and do my eyebrows.
This is Brunson leaving home the morning of September 24th, texting her mom a smiley.
I wasn't even there 30 minutes and they called and told me her car was found. And I knew then, at that point, like something happened to her.
September 24th, 2022. 20-year-old Ksenia Brunson walked out of her Milwaukee home that morning just like any other day. Before she left, she did what so many of us do. She sent her mama a quick text, just a smiley face. Simple, sweet, normal. She had no idea that would be the last message she'd ever send. By that evening, her car would be found abandoned on the streets of Milwaukee, and within hours, a witness would make a frantic 911 call that would shake this whole city. This is the story of Ksenia Brunson, and I need y'all to stay with me on this one, because what happened to this young sister is something we need to talk about.
Well, we continue to follow some breaking news this morning. Milwaukee police investigating what they call a suspicious death. Now, it happened around 10:40 at Palmer and Keefe in the 𝘠𝘵𝘡 neighborhood. The medical examiner confirms one person is dead.
Now, before we get into what went down that day, let me tell you who 𝘖𝑦 was. Because see, that's the part that gets lost sometimes when we talk about these cases. We hear about the tragedy, but we don't really get to know the person. And 𝘖𝑦 deserves to be remembered for who she was, not just what happened to her. 𝘖𝑦 had just turned 20 years old in June of 2022. And y'all, this girl had dreams, big dreams. She wanted to be an orthodontist at first, maybe even a veterinarian because she loved animals. But over time, she discovered something about herself. She realized she had a gift for making people feel beautiful. She could do makeup, teach you how to put on lashes, shape your eyebrows, all of that. So she enrolled in beauty school because that's where her passion was taking her.
She actually taught me how to put on eyelashes and do my eyebrows.
That's her mama talking right there. Her mama, Jennifer. And listen to how she describes her daughter, not just as somebody she loved, but as her best friend. That tells you the kind of relationship they had. But 𝘖𝑦 wasn't just about beauty school. She also had this heart for helping people. She had just signed up for CNA classes, certified nursing assistant, because she wanted to do something that mattered. She wanted to take care of people. That's who she was.
She loved helping others. Her father tells me she just signed up for CNA classes.
She wanted everybody to stay close and wanted a lot of things out of life. She was going for it.
Dreams cut short.
You hear that? She was going for it. That's her father, 𝘐𝘢𝑚, talking about his daughter. And the pride in his voice, even through all that pain, tells you everything you need to know about the kind of young woman 𝘖𝑦 was. Her stepdad, Cameron, said she could make you smile right away, that they would laugh together about the silliest things. Her grandmother remembered how much she loved going to the state fair with the family. Pink was one of her favorite colors. She had this infectious smile that people still talk about to this day. This was a young woman who lit up rooms, who had people around her that loved her deeply, who was building a life for herself, one step at a time. But here's where the story takes a turn, and I need y'all to pay attention to this part because it's important. 𝘖𝑦 had a secret that very few people knew about. She was in a relationship with a man named Sultan Sharif. Now let me tell you about Sultan. This man was in his early 50s. He was married, and he had been involved with 𝘖𝑦 since she was a teenager. I know some of y'all are already feeling some type of way about that, and you should be. Because the power dynamic here, the age difference, the fact that he was a whole married man, all of that matters. All of that plays into what eventually happened. For 𝘖𝑦, this relationship probably felt like something real, like a connection. Young women sometimes get caught up with older men who know exactly what to say, exactly how to make them feel special. And Sultan had been in her life for years. But for him, this was a double life he was living. He had a wife at home, he had responsibilities, and 𝘖𝑦 was a secret he was trying to keep hidden from everybody. Now, Sultan wasn't just some regular dude either. This man had a criminal history. Court records show he had 13 convictions going back to 1989. He did a 10-year prison sentence back in the 90s for drug possession. He was known to carry guns, sometimes 2 of them, even though as a felon, he wasn't supposed to have any. His probation had been revoked twice because he couldn't stay out of trouble. And there was even a court order at the time saying he wasn't supposed to have contact with 𝘖𝑦 and several other people. But clearly that didn't stop him. So you got this young woman, 20 years old, trying to figure out her life, following her dreams, and you got this 50-something-year-old convicted felon who's living a lie and pulling her into it. That's the setup.
Knowing he was too old for her. You know what I'm saying? He was dating her. She was a teenager. He was in his 50s.
That's what we're working with. Now, here's where things really start to shift. At some point, word about their relationship got out, and it got back to Sultan's wife. I want you to think about what that means for a second. Sultan had been keeping 𝘖𝑦 hidden, keeping this whole part of his life secret, and now his wife knows. His marriage is on the line. His whole carefully constructed world is starting to crack. And according to what came out later, 𝘖𝑦 had started reaching out to Sultan's wife herself. Maybe she wanted the truth to come out. Maybe she thought if his wife knew, he'd have to make a choice. We don't know exactly what was going through her mind, but what we do know is that she was no longer willing to stay in the shadows. 1 week before Kenya lost her life, Sultan did something that should have been a warning sign to everybody. He called Kenya's mother. Think about that for a second. This man who had been sneaking around with her daughter for years. He picks up the phone and calls her mama.
Strangely, he'd reached out to Brunson's mom a week earlier.
He goes on to say, I want to be done messing with your daughter, but she's reaching out to my wife.
You hear that? He told her mama, I want to be done messing with your daughter, but she's reaching out to my wife. Now, when I first heard that, here's what stood out to me. He's not calling because he feels guilty. He's not calling to apologize or take responsibility for being a grown man in his 50s involved with somebody young enough to be his daughter. He's calling because he's scared. He's calling because Kenya is threatening his control over the situation. She's reaching out to his wife. She's bringing the truth into the light, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like it one bit. That phone call happened 1 week before September 24th, 1 week before everything fell apart. And here's what you need to understand. When somebody like Sultan, somebody with that kind of criminal history, somebody who's used to controlling situations and getting away with things, when that person starts to lose control, that's when they become dangerous. Kenya probably thought she was doing the right thing. She probably thought if she told his wife, maybe things would change. Maybe he'd have to be honest. Maybe she could finally stop being a secret. But she didn't realize what she was dealing with. She didn't realize that for Sultan, losing control meant losing everything. His marriage, his image, his power over her. And some people, when they're backed into a corner like that, when they feel like they're about to be exposed, they don't respond with honesty or accountability. They respond with violence. September 24th, 2022, started out like a regular Saturday morning for Kenya. She got up, got herself together, and before she left the house, she sent that text to her mama. Just a smiley face. Her mama, Jennifer, didn't know it at the time, but that simple emoji would be the last communication she'd ever get from her daughter. Kenya was going to meet up with Sultan that day. Maybe she thought they were going to talk. Maybe she thought they could work something out. We don't know what was going through her mind. What we do know is that she left her house that morning and she never made it back home.
This is Brunson leaving home the morning of September 24th, texting her mom a smiley.
I wasn't even there 30 minutes and they called and told me her car was found. And I knew then, at that point, like something happened to her.
You hear the pain in her mama's voice. She wasn't even gone 30 minutes before they found Kenya's car. And right then, Jennifer knew. She knew something was wrong. That morning, Kenya and Sultan went to an auto mechanic shop. Sultan wanted to get some radiator work done on Kenya's car, a Hyundai. There was a friend of Sultan's there, a man named Carver who had known Sultan for a long time. Now pay attention to this next part, because this is where we start to see exactly what kind of person Sultan really is. Later that day, Carver got a call from Sultan, and he said Sultan sounded panicked, desperate, telling him he needed him to come back to the shop. So Carver went back, and when he got there, what he saw would haunt him. He saw Sultan in the back seat of a car, on top of Kenya, with his knee pressing down on her. He was jabbing her with a screwdriver, and even though her throat had been slashed, even though she was bleeding, Kenya was still conscious, still fighting, still trying to live, and she was screaming for help.
September 24th, a friend of Sharif's called 911 after he says he saw Sharif on top of the victim in Sharif's car and that the female stated, "He cut my throat." She was screaming and pleading for help.
Can you imagine being that witness, seeing that, hearing her scream those words? He cut my throat. Carver called 911 right away. He was frantic. He told them what he was seeing, what he was hearing. Police were dispatched to the area, but by the time they got there, Sultan and Kenya were gone. That was the moment. That was the window. If police had gotten there just a few minutes earlier, if they had been able to find them right then, Kenya might still be alive today, but they couldn't locate them. And the clock was ticking. Hours went by. Kenya's family was calling her phone. No answer. They were looking for her, asking around, getting more and more worried. And then later that night, police got another call. This time, it was about a scene in an alley near Keith Avenue and Palmer Street. What they found there, I'm not going to describe in graphic detail because y'all don't need those images in your head. But what I will tell you is this. Ksenia had been tied up, she had been shot, and then her body had been set on fire. Let me say that again. Set on fire. This wasn't just about ending her life. This was about trying to destroy the evidence, trying to make sure she couldn't be identified, trying to erase what he had done.
Police didn't locate the two then, but hours later were called to an alley near Keefe and Palmer where Brunson had been tied, shot, and then set on fire.
Her body was so badly burned that when investigators first arrived, they couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman. They had to use dental records to identify her. That's the level of cruelty we're talking about here. That's what Sultan did to this young woman who had trusted him, who had been in his life for years, who probably thought he cared about her. On September 30th, 6 days after Ksenia went missing, the medical examiner confirmed what her family already feared in their hearts. The body found in that alley was 20-year-old Ksenia Brunson.
It's just terrible that someone could go through that, and then to know that they probably went through it by themselves and not had me or her brother or my husband or anyone that she knew that could be there, you know, at a time like this.
That's her mama again, talking about how her daughter went through that alone, without her family there to protect her, without anyone there to save her. And y'all, I need to pause here for a second because I know this is heavy. I know this hurts to hear, but we have to sit with this. We have to understand what happened to Ksenia because this is not just her story. This is a story that plays out too many times in our community. Young Black women going missing.
And it does, you know, being unalive from somebody who claims that they love you. That they claim that they love you, but they take your life away all because you're afraid you're going to get exposed, which is crazy. Women, be careful. Be careful. When you get ready to walk out of a relationship, don't let them know why. Don't let them know that you know anything. Just walk away and move on. It's sad. Burnt this girl, shot her, strangled her, shot her, and then burnt her up so they can try to get the evidence.
Young Black women being harmed by people they trusted and their stories not getting the attention they deserve. But we're going to make sure Ksenia's story is told. We're going to make sure people know her name and what happened to her. So stay with me because we're not done yet. We still got to talk about how they caught Sultan, how the lies started falling apart, and how Ksenia's family fought for justice. Now, when something like this happens, when a young woman is found the way Ksenia was found, the first 48 hours are critical, and Milwaukee police knew they had to move fast. They started doing what investigators do, pulling phone records, looking at surveillance footage, talking to witnesses, retracing Ksenia's last known movements. And here's the thing about lies. No matter how well you think you've covered your
Now, did Chicago do that? Did Chicago take their time in 48 hours to see what happened? Did they see video footage that was around? Hold on, you guys. I got to answer this phone call.
tracks, the truth has a way of coming to light, especially when you got multiple people involved who all got to keep their stories straight. Sultan thought he was smart. He thought he could create this web of deception that would keep him safe. But what he didn't count on was how quickly that web would start to unravel. First, investigators talked to Sultan's wife. And just like you'd expect from somebody trying to protect their husband, she gave him an alibi. She told police that Sultan had been with her on the night Ksenia lost her life. Now, on the surface, that might seem solid, right? Wife backs up husband. Case closed. But detectives weren't buying it because they had something she didn't know about. They had video evidence.
Police interviewed a number of people, including Sharif's wife, who claimed he'd been with her the night of the murder, which the complaint says was debunked through video evidence.
You see what I'm getting at here? Surveillance footage placed Sultan somewhere completely different from where his wife said he was. Her whole story fell apart just like that. And that's when investigators knew for sure they weren't dealing with a coincidence or a misunderstanding. They were dealing with someone who was actively trying to cover up what they did. The evidence kept stacking up. Cell phone records showed where Sultan's phone had been that day. Witnesses came forward with information, and remember that friend, Carvester, the one who called 911 after seeing Sultan attacking Ksenia? His testimony was crucial because he saw it with his own eyes. But there was another piece to this puzzle. Sultan didn't act alone in trying to cover this up. Enter Johnny Allen Hopgood, Sultan's brother-in-law, 45 years old. According to the criminal complaint, after Sultan took Ksenia's life, he needed help getting rid of the evidence. And that's where Johnny came in.
The complaint says 45-year-old Johnny Hopgood helped Sharif burn Brunson's body.
Think about that for a minute. Ksenia's body being set on fire wasn't just Sultan trying to destroy evidence by himself. He had help. He had family willing to participate in covering up what he did to this young woman. And that tells you something about the kind of people we're dealing with here. This wasn't just one person making a terrible choice in the heat of the moment. This was calculated. This was planned. This was multiple people working together to try to get away with taking someone's life. Now, while all this investigation was happening, while detectives were putting the pieces together, Ksenia's family was living in a nightmare. For a month, the family waited. They mourned. They held each other. They demanded answers. And finally, in October 2022, Milwaukee police had enough evidence to move forward. Criminal charges were filed. Sultan Sharif was charged with first-degree intentional homicide and mutilating a corpse, the most serious charges possible under Wisconsin law. Johnny Allen Hopgood was charged with mutilating a corpse and aiding a felon. Bond was set at $500,000 for Sultan. For Johnny, it was $50,000. Let me break down what these charges mean, because it's important y'all understand. First-degree intentional homicide, that's the most serious charge you can get in Wisconsin. It means prosecutors believed Sultan planned this, that it wasn't an accident, that he made a choice to take Ksenia's life. Mutilating a corpse, that charge speaks to what happened after. The burning of her body, the attempt to destroy evidence, and party to a crime. That means even though Johnny might not have been there when Ksenia lost her life, he helped after the fact. He participated in covering it up. For Ksenia's family, the charges were a step toward justice. But they didn't bring any comfort, because at the end of the day, Ksenia was still gone.
It's some comfort that to know that, we have the suspects and, they are being charged. But yet and still with the court system, kind of headache, pushing stuff back, rescheduling everything. And, that's what's keeping, us for not having all the peace we want.
You hear what he's saying there? It's some comfort knowing the people responsible were arrested, but the court system, with all its delays and rescheduling, it was keeping them from the peace they needed, and that's real, because the legal system moves slow, real slow, especially when there's a pandemic backing everything up, which is exactly what was happening at this time. So Ksenia's family had to wait and wait and wait some more. The trial that was supposed to happen in 2023 kept getting pushed back. COVID had created this massive backlog in the courts. Cases were getting delayed left and right. And every time there was a delay, every time a court date got rescheduled, it was like reopening the wound for Ksenia's family. They couldn't move forward. They couldn't get closure. They were stuck in this painful limbo. But here's what I want y'all to know about this family. They didn't give up. They didn't let the system wear them down. They showed up to every court date. They spoke Ksenia's name. They made sure she wasn't forgotten. 1 year after Ksenia's passing, the family held another vigil, another balloon release, another gathering to honor her memory.
In 1 year since 20-year-old Ksenia Brunson's murder, family and friends are honoring her memory. Police say a Milwaukee man killed Brunson, then set her remains on fire. 12 News reporter Emily Pofall checked in with Brunson's family at a vigil tonight as they wait for her alleged killer to go to trial.
Friends and family.
I know that she's here with us all.
By this point, it had been a full year, 365 days since that morning when Ksenia sent her mama a smiley face and walked out the door. 365 days of grief, of waiting, of fighting for justice.
remembering 20-year-old Ksenia Brunson 1 year after her murder.
Today, I'm still feeling the same grief. Our family's still feeling the same grief.
The same grief, not less, not easier. The same, because grief doesn't work on a timeline. It doesn't matter that a year has passed. The pain is still fresh. The loss is still heavy. But what kept them going was each other, and the knowledge that eventually Sultan would have to face what he did.
Hanging on to each other for love and support, especially as they still wait for peace and justice.
Until I know the complete sentence on what they did to my daughter. So until that judge hit the gavel, I won't feel like justice is served.
Until that judge hits the gavel. That's what they were waiting for. That final moment when the system would say, you are guilty, you are responsible, and you will be held accountable. And in the meantime, they had to keep living. Keep waking up every day without Ksenia. Keep seeing her room, her pictures, her things. Keep being reminded of everything she was supposed to become and never got the chance to be. This is the part of these stories that doesn't always get told. We talk about the crime. We talk about the investigation. We talk about the trial. But we don't always talk about what it's like for the families living through it. The birthdays that come and go without their loved one. The holidays that feel empty. The graduations that never happen. The dreams that die along with the person. Ksenia should have been finishing beauty school. She should have been working as a CNA. She should have been teaching her friends how to do their makeup and laughing with her stepdad about silly things and going to the state fair with her grandmother. Instead, her family was planning vigils, attending court hearings, fighting just to make it through each day. But they kept going, because that's what you do when you love someone. You keep going, you keep fighting, you keep demanding justice, no matter how long it takes. And finally, after more than a year of waiting, the case was scheduled to go to trial in December 2023. Now, before we get to that trial, I need to tell y'all about something that happened that absolutely shocked Ksenia's family. Something that felt like a slap in the face. Remember 𝘕𝘭𝘭𝘏, Sultan's brother-in-law, the one who was charged with helping burn Ksenia's body? In June 2023, he took a plea deal.
Online court records show prosecutors originally charged 𝘕𝘭𝘭𝘏 with mutilating a corpse and aiding a felon. But in June, 𝘕𝘭𝘭𝘏 instead pled guilty to lesser charges, resisting and obstructing an officer. Loved ones still grieving 1 year later, but not doing it alone.
Let me make sure y'all caught that. He was originally charged with mutilating a corpse and aiding a felon. Those are serious charges that carry serious time. But he pled guilty to resisting and obstructing an officer instead. Now, I don't know all the details of why prosecutors agreed to that deal. Maybe Johnny cooperated with the investigation. Maybe they needed his testimony against Sultan. Maybe there were evidentiary issues we don't know about. But from the family's perspective, this man helped cover up what happened to their daughter. He helped burn her body, and he's walking away with a charge that doesn't even mention what he actually did. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta feel like the system is saying Ksenia's life, her dignity, her memory, it doesn't matter as much as it should. And look, I'm not here to tell y'all what the right call was legally. I don't have all the information prosecutors had. But I am here to tell you that for Ksenia's family, this felt like injustice on top of tragedy. Because at the end of the day, Ksenia was still gone. And the person who helped try to hide that fact got off with a relatively minor charge. But the family couldn't focus on that. Not yet. Because Sultan's trial was coming up. And that was the one that really mattered. That was the one where they'd finally get to see the man who took Ksenia from them face real accountability. December 2023, more than a year after Ksenia lost her life, the trial of Sultan Sharif was about to begin. And let me tell you, when that jury heard the evidence, when they saw what prosecutors had put together, it didn't take them long to reach a decision. But we're going to get into that in the next part. Because what happened in that courtroom, what came out during that trial, and what Sultan's sentence ended up being, that's where this story reaches its conclusion. And trust me, y'all gonna want to hear how this ends.
Right now, Sharif is scheduled for a jury trial in December. The family says they'll be there when that trial happens.
The family was ready. They had been waiting for this moment, and they were about to see justice served. Stay with me. We're almost there. The cell phone records that tracked his movements, The witness testimony from Carvester Carver, Sultan's own friend who saw him attacking Ksenia and heard her screaming for help. They presented evidence about how Ksenia's wrists had been bound with wire, how her body was so badly burned they had to use dental records to identify her, how Sultan had called Ksenia's mother just 1 week before, trying to end things because Ksenia was reaching out to his wife. The prosecution's case was clear. Sultan Sharif had been living a double life. When Ksenia threatened to expose that life by telling his wife the truth, he made a choice to silence her permanently. In his closing arguments, the prosecutor, Assistant District Attorney Ian Vance Curzan, told the jury something powerful. He said, "All of the evidence in this case points to Sultan Sharif being the person who is guilty. There is no other fair and rational way to look at the evidence. He had the motive. He was cheating on his wife. Ksenia told on him. His world was falling apart. His marriage was falling apart. He was losing control, so he did everything he could to get away with it." The defense tried to argue that the evidence was circumstantial, that Sultan was a victim of tunnel vision in the investigation. But when you got surveillance video, cell phone records, witness testimony, and physical evidence all pointing in the same direction, that's not tunnel vision. That's just the truth. The jury got the case.
And you know what, you guys, that's what Ramika got. She got the witnesses. They got video of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what she got. But they still is not charged yet. But it's gonna take time because it took them time. Well, he did get arrested like maybe 6 weeks after this murder right here. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't go to trial until December of 2023. Let's keep going. She had the same thing though.
And y'all, they deliberated for 45 minutes. Let me say that again. 45 minutes. That's how clear the evidence was. That's how obvious Sultan's guilt was. In less than an hour, 12 people looked at everything presented to them and said, yeah, he did this. No question. The verdict came back. Guilty of first-degree intentional homicide, guilty of mutilating a corpse, party to a crime. Sultan Sharif had been convicted. I'm very pleased and happy with the verdict. It was a long time waiting. I want to thank everybody for doing such a great job with this case. It gave me and my family healing. That's Ksenia's father, Shante. And you can hear it in his voice, right? The relief, the gratitude, not happiness. Because how can you be happy when your daughter is gone? But relief that finally, the man who took her from them had been held accountable. Now in Wisconsin, a conviction for first-degree intentional homicide comes with a mandatory life sentence. There's no getting around that. But the sentencing hearing was still important because it gave Ksenia's family a chance to speak, a chance to look Sultan in the eye and tell him what he took from them. That sentencing hearing happened on February 21st, 2024. And let me tell you what happened in that courtroom, because it matters. Ksenia's father, Shante, brought two things with him that day: a glossy photo of his daughter, 5 by 8 inches, and the leather-bound Bible he keeps it in. He clutched both of them tight as he stood up to speak. He called Sultan a monster. And honestly, that's one of the kinder things he could have called him. Ksenia's grandmother, Charlene Litzler, spoke too. She talked about how vibrant Ksenia was, how she loved going to the state fair with family, how she had that beautiful smile that could light up any space she walked into. And then she said something that just broke my heart. She said she was on her way to college to make her dreams come true until this demon took her life. On her way. That's the part that gets me. Ksenia was on her way. She was in motion. She was building something. And Sultan stopped all of that. The judge, Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge David Swanson, he wasn't playing any games that day either. He looked at Sultan's record. 13 convictions going back to 1989. A 10-year prison sentence in 1996 for drug possession. Probation revoked twice because Sultan couldn't stay out of trouble. And remember what I told y'all earlier? Sultan was under a court order at the time of Ksenia's passing. He wasn't supposed to have any contact with her or several other people, but he violated that order anyway. Judge Swanson said that Sultan's lengthy criminal history showed he was either unable or unwilling to change his ways. And then he used 2 words to describe what Sultan did to Kenya: vicious and cruel. That's what the judge called it. Vicious and cruel. Sultan's defense attorney asked the judge to make him eligible for release after 20 years. You know, give him a chance to get out eventually if he behaves himself in prison. Judge Swanson said no, absolutely not. Sultan Sharif was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole, plus an additional 12 years for mutilating Kenya's corpse. He will die in prison, period. Sultan Sharif was sentenced to life in prison Wednesday morning with an additional 12 years for mutilating a corpse. Now here's the part that really showed you who Sultan is as a person. Even after being convicted, even after all the evidence was presented, even in that courtroom, knowing he was about to spend the rest of his life behind bars, Sultan still couldn't take responsibility. He got up and gave this rambling statement claiming the jury got it all wrong, saying he was 3 or 4 miles away when Kenya's body was burned, trying to blame a cousin who was never even mentioned during the 6-day trial. He said Kenya had called him that day asking for help with a place to stay and car repairs. He said, I felt sorry for her to some degree, but that other stuff, I would never have hurt her. Never hurt her. This man who slashed her throat while she was screaming for help, who shot her, who tied her up and set her body on fire. He stood in that courtroom and said he would never hurt her. That's the level of denial we're dealing with. That's how little remorse he showed. And I think that makes it even clearer that Judge Swanson made the right call. Because if you can do what Sultan did and still claim you're innocent, if you can take someone's life in the most brutal way possible and show zero accountability, then you don't deserve to ever walk free again. The courtroom was packed with Kenya's family that day. They watched Sultan try to lie his...
And that's exactly how the 2 people who are alive, Ramika, they have no remorse at all. They are around taking pictures, smiling at each other, dressing alike, you know, thinking they're getting away with it, but it's not. Because their time is coming. Their time is coming. See how long it took. That's why I played this, to see how long it takes for you know, charges to be brought on them when the court section get ready to come. You know what I'm saying? So something that we just gonna have to walk through, because justice is coming. It's coming. So I'm gonna stop playing it because you know it's towards the end. I just want the family to know, just hold on, keep pushing, and know that justice is right around the corner. It's gonna take time. Nobody's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna happen right away. You know, so I'm hoping that she probably will get charged before the year's out, so they can start putting it on their dockets. Okay, because it's coming. It's coming. Okay, so that's all I got to say. So go back, if you missed it, please go back and listen to what I was talking about at the beginning part, far as the advocate. Okay, the reasons why I thought, you know, he probably that he probably, you know, changed his mind, you know, to working with the case. It's because the case is too messy. It's because he doesn't do DV crimes anymore, or it's because he no longer live in the city, or is it because he doesn't want to be talked about, or is it because he see it's not worth his time? Okay, and things that we can do, us people that is supporting her, to make the advocate feel comfortable. Okay, we must focus on clear delegation, providing necessary resources, and establishing a supportive environment. Okay, we must define roles and expectation clearly. Okay, and we must also set measurable goals and objectives. And we also must ensure through preparation and resources, provide full information and facts, allocate necessary resources, offer training or mentorship if you have to, okay? 3, foster trust and communicate. Create an open communication environment, practice active listening, and build a base of support, build a relationship, okay? 4, step back and provide support, not solution. Okay, we want to be there to support the advocate. Okay, avoid being a complicit manager. Delegate responsibility. Monitor and evaluate progress. And the last one, offer public and private recognition. Okay, so we can just do those things as a supporter of Rameek's, you know what I'm saying? Let the advocate take control. Let him lead because he know what he's doing, okay? Get a relationship with him, you know what I'm saying? Or with her, whoever the advocate's going to be. But we do need a face out there. We do need a leader out there, okay? So that's all I got to say. So peace and blessings to you all. Have a nice day, and I guess I'll see you guys on Thursday on my real table talk. Okay, peace and blessings. I'm out. Bye.
Through the shadows where the storms collide, she stands with courage as her guide. Her whispers echo louder than screams, faithful to God through broken dreams. She's the silent storm, unshaken, strong. Through the trials, she's where hope belongs, a survivor standing tall, unbound. Her voice a beacon breaking the cloud. Tuesdays and Thursdays, the table set for stories shared, no room for regret. At 5:30 sharp, hearts come alive. Together we heal, together we thrive. Tuesdays and Thursdays, the table set for stories shared, no room for regret.